Hello, welcome to Artful with Michelle. Today we're going to paint a little bird in a tree for spring, and he might end up looking a little like a cardinal. I have put a little point on the top of his head. But anyway, this is going to be an 8 by 10 inch canvas. Okay, and you're going to draw a simple bird by making a teardrop, a round belly under it, a little wing pointing out, and another one that almost looks like a paisley. Okay, for our brushes today, I'm going to be using a large flat and a number 2 script liner, an old scruffy brush maybe. I have an angle brush handy, my favorite number 6 round, and I have a 1/2 inch flat. Okay. For our paints, I have a mixture of acrylic and Liquitex basics. I have ultramarine blue, titanium white, cadmium red deep hue, or you can use any type of crimson red that you like. I have my favorite vivid red orange, some deep yellow, which is equivalent to about a cadmium yellow deep hue. I have a green oxide. I have chrome yellow, burnt umber, and Mars black. If I add any other colors in the course of the video, I'll put them in the description. So I'm going to start. I've drawn my little bird and a branch, and I went ahead and just put a base coat on the beak of the deep yellow color. I'm going to wet my large flat brush, touch it on my paper towel, and I'm going to take a mix of ultramarine blue and titanium white, and I am going to paint the background. Now I did draw a little piece of a branch, so I'm just going to leave some of that for a guideline. I'm just going to go around the branch that I drew. I'm going to change to a smaller brush to get around the bird. I thought I had a flat handy for the video, but it turns out that what I grabbed was an angle brush, but I'm going to use that. And we're going to go ahead and get around the bird. It will need another coat, another layer of paint. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on adding the ultramarine blue and the white. Just kind of swish it and blend it while the paint is wet. Turn this around and get to the other side. I just love to paint these little whimsical birds. I happen to have a hanging impatiens flower in the front of my house, and a bird had built a nest in it and laid 3 eggs from what I can tell. I'm keeping my distance. And there's 3 little baby birds, I think, in the nest. So I'm being very careful to just water the one side of the plant where the nest isn't, just to keep the plant going and not disturb the baby birds. So I can't wait to see how that all evolves and how they look when they get older, and maybe I'll get to see them flying away from the nest and everything. So it's pretty neat to have nature that close and up front. Okay. Definitely will need a second coat. Lots of times with acrylic paints, your first coat can be somewhat transparent. And then we'll put some under this branch. All right. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to get that dry so we can get a solid background. Okay, now that that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and put some more paint on the background. Use the largest brush that feels right for the area. You do need to be able to get in and around things. I need some more white. Right, there we go. I just keep grabbing little bits of blue and white and just get it on there and blend the colors together. Alright, here we go. You can always fast forward through this part. I try to get it on there as quickly as I can for you. Okay, almost there. Here we go. Put a little bit up here on top of the branch. Get some blue in there. Okay. All right. I splashed my painting. Okay, here we go. We are going to paint our bird. Okay. I went and got another 1/2 inch flat. Okay, and I'm going to use some burnt umber. And I'm just going to paint this. Now, as I paint this branch, I'm going to keep the brush strokes horizontal as much as possible. Go under the bird. This is a very rich burnt umber. This is the Liquitex Basics. As I come away to the end of the branch, I'm going to make the end of it more narrow. Okay, the branches always come out to finer tips at the ends. And I'm going to branch off and make some extra little branches. I like to turn my painting in different directions to make it easier for my hand to get in there. Okay, let's get one up at the top. You can also use a liner brush to make those finer branches. Alright, a little bit more up in here. You can grab a little bit of white too and mix it in with some burnt umber and make some lighter brown to come in and just add in. We're just doing a fun, quick and easy, whimsical painting. Alright. Now sometimes, oops, that was too much water on that brush. I'll just smooth it out. Sometimes when I'm doing the video, I don't look to where my paper towel is and I don't quite get the water absorbed out of my brush. So try to make sure you do gently blot your brush on your paper towel before you go to your canvas once you rinse your brush. Okay, let's see. Let's bring some bark lines in there. Okay. So at this point I'm going to take my number 6 round and some burnt umber and I'm just going to come in and kind of clean up some of those small branches. let's get some color on our little bird. So I'm going to be using 3 colors on the bird, some burnt umber and some of the red and some of that orange to create the colors. I'm going to take my 6 round and a little bit of burnt umber. I'm going to just start on one side here. I'm going to put some burnt umber down. And I'm going to just wipe that off on my paper towel. Grab some crimson red. Put it down and blend it into the brown. And then as I come to the center of the face, I'm going to add a little bit of the orange, which I'm then going to blend back out into the red and brown. Alright, so we're going to do the other side. A little bit of brown. I did not wash my brush in between. I'm going to wipe my brush, add some red. Again, you could leave the point off the top of this bird too and make it a blue bird and change your background colors, whatever you like. Okay, let's get a little more orange. So cute. Okay. So we're going to do the same with the belly, except I'm going to keep the belly bright over here on the left because it's in front of the wing. And we're going to grab some red. I'm going to blend it out into the orange. Take your flat brush or your angle, whatever you're using, and get that smoothed out. Now under this wing I'm going to use some burnt umber, so I'm going to grab that on the corner of my brush. I'm going to put it here in front of this wing and kind of blend it out onto my bird. Grab a little more red. Okay. So it's going to start taking shape. This wing is on the top. So we're going to make it lighter where it touches the body. So we're going to use orange there. To help pop it in front. And then we're going to just dip right into the red. We're going to start putting down the red. Blended. Okay, so on this wing, we're going to make it darker where it touches the body. So I'm going to put some burnt umber in there. And then get some red. blend it in. All right, there we go. So that's created a little dimension. We're going to let this dry, and then I will shade under the head with a little bit of the burnt umber. While that's drying, let's go ahead and give this guy some eyes, which you could use the tip of a brush, or you can use a pencil tip. Dip in your black, and I'm just going to make 2 long ovals on each side of the beak, 1 on each side. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Now on this beak, it's already base coated in the deep yellow. So I'm going to take a little bit of the deep yellow and a little bit of burnt umber. I'll make a little bit of a darker color, and I'm going to put it here under the triangle of the beak. Rinse my brush, kind of pull it down a little bit. Alright, then I'm going to take some of the chrome yellow with a little white, and I'm going to lighten the top part of the beak. Now go back to your pencil or your stylus, whatever you're using for dots. The eyes are drying, so you're going to dip in some white, and we're going to make a little highlight in each eye. Okay, super cute. I think I'm going to add some little eyebrows. So I'm going to take my liner brush, water down some Mars Black paint. And I'm going to make a little angled eyebrow on each side. Okay. So we're going to make some leaves. I'm going to take that flat brush. So this is a 1/2 inch flat brush, and it's in great condition. It's brand new, so it has a beautiful chisel edge. And I'm just going to make a bunch of leaves. So I'm going to take some of my green oxide, a little bit of burnt umber, and I'm going to mix that and get a deeper green. And I'm just going to use the press and lift method. So I'm just going to put in some leaves like this all around the tree. Let me do the darker color first. And all of the leaves don't have to necessarily be attached to a stem. You can just have them floating out there. Okay, so you put your brush down on an angle, you press a little, let it flare out, and then you lift up. And it's hard to do it slow, because the slower you go, the harder it is for the brush to rebound on the stroke. I'm going to do a bunch of these darker ones. You can change to a smaller brush to make little ones if you want, or you can use your round brush. Whatever your favorite leaf brush and method is, go ahead and do that and have some fun. Now I do want more up at the top, like as though the big branches are up there and there's a whole lot more tree up there. Alright, so come down here now and let's put some on the branch that the bird's actually sitting on. Again, I'm just using the burnt umber and the green oxide. And let's see, maybe a few down here. Okay, now I'm going to just wipe that brush, get some green oxide and some of the chrome yellow and mix that up and make a brighter lime green, which I love. And I'm going to take a little dab of white. And I'm just going to come in and do some lighter leaves here and there on top. And don't be afraid to go right over some spots of those darker leaves. Keep mixing some more. Over here, obviously I got my knuckle into my branch, which I typically do. So I'm just going to cover that with some leaves. Okay. So have some fun. Again, if you want to vary the size of your leaves, you can use a smaller brush too. Let's let these branches touch. The leaves from the branches touch and kind of intermingle. Get some more yellow. So I'm adding a little bit more of the yellow. Okay. Now let's grab that angle brush. You can use a flat brush or an angle brush. And I'm going to shade under the bird with a little bit of burnt umber plus Mars black. I'm going to blend that on my palette. And then under the bird, I'm going to come in and put some shadow. I need to wet the brush a little to get down into the canvas. There we go. So we just want to make it a little darker under the bird. Go. And you can put some of that here and there on your branch. Same up at the top. I'm going to come in and put some darker color down at the base of the branch. Okay, so now I want to clean up a little bit. I'm going to take some burnt umber and blend it on my palette. And I want to come in and just kind of clean up the edge of that face there. Yeah, that's good. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some more at the base of the face. All right, let's go and shade a little bit around this beard, this beak, not beard, I'm not doing a gnome. Okay, I'll grab some more of the brown. And I want to deepen a little bit behind the beak to help push it forward. Here we go. Okay. I think that black was a hair wet. There we go. Okay, our little bird needs to be holding a little twig, I think. So I'm going to grab my trusty number 6 round, and I'm going to take some of that lighter green with the white that I have mixed, and I'm just going to make a stem that comes under the wing. And I'm going to put some little leaves on it. So I'm going to grab some green and yellow mix. Okay, so I'm just adding a few little leaves. I'm going to take my liner brush and grab some of that green and yellow mix and come in and just give these leaves some little stems. Okay, so now if you want to, you can add some stems up in your tree. Like I would just grab some of the darker green, maybe with the burnt umber if you want, or a little bit of black. And you can come in and just throw in some stems if you want. You don't really have to, because this is whimsy and we're just having fun. There we go. I'm using some of the burnt umber too. Okay. So for the bird, I still want to go ahead and smooth some of the areas out. So I'm going to grab a little bit of orange, and I'm just going to put some more here and a little bit of red, and just get some of my edges smoothed out just a little bit. Let's grab some orange and go back in and brighten this face up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to take my liner and I'm going to outline that beak just a tiny bit. I'm going to grab a little burnt umber, water it down, and I'm just going to come in and outline that just a little bit. Even though we shaded behind it, it was just kind of fading into the face. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to come in. There we go. Take some yellow. My red was a little bit thin right there, so when I touched it, some of it lifted. So I'm going to see if I can gently pat some of that in. Here we go. You can always just keep coming back, and anything that you see that you want to touch up, you can add some more paint, and you can add all the colors and reblend them and give yourself a brighter look. You could come in and make hairs all around, like I've done in some of my previous videos. Okay, so the question is, would we like to splatter this? So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to get out a round brush and wet it, and I'm going to dip in my green, and I'm just going to come in, just kind of do some splatter. I think it's better maybe to leave the green splatter just up in the tree, so I'm going to take it away over here in the sky. Alright, so that ends this little birdie tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day.